The Robogoat monster first appeared in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2 episode The Green Dream. Yes, we're officially talking Season 2 and the second series of action feature Evil Space Aliens. Before we break down the character and figure, here's a quick aside. I can still remember how excited I was walking into KB Toys and seeing new figures. Crazy to think back to a time where new figures actually surprised me on the shelves and I didn't have to pre-order them 2 years out at a premium price. Also, no one was trying to beat each other to making and uploading YouTube toy news videos 2 seconds after the figures are announced. Now yes, I was definitely excited, but I couldn't help but feel slightly disappointed when I flipped the backer over. The villains offered were cut down to 6 from the 12 offered in Series 1. Looking back, I can understand it after weeks and months of always digging through the same piles of discounted Nasty Knights and Dromels. I get it. Bandai had to tighten it up. A mindset they would continue to have for many series to come. Robogoat was the new figure I wanted most at that time. He played a very prominent role in his feature episode, and it's one that I remembered pretty well from childhood. Lord Zed plans to steal the Sword of Power, a weapon we've never heard of or hear about ever again after this episode, and use it to then steal the Power Rangers' powers. Supposedly, all 6 Rangers need to summon the sword in order for it to appear. It's decided by the villains that Tommy's Green Ranger powers are running out, and that he can now easily be put under Lord Zed's command as, once again, an evil Green Ranger, albeit for 5 minutes or so. Side note, this is all carried out by Goldar, temporarily wielding Zed's staff, which is interesting to see. Evil Tommy dupes the team into summoning the sword and brings it back to Goldar and the newly formed Robogoat. Zed created it from a picture in Tommy's Myth and Legends book he had on his person for a school assignment. Zordon then indicates that this monster gets his power from mystical and mechanical sources. Hopefully you caught him saying mechanical because, apart from how this monster kind of sounds robotic, that adjective is the only thing justifying the Robo in Robogoat's name. To say this figure looks like the character from the show is an understatement. I really think Bandai did an excellent job with this guy's appearance. Having said that, I do have critiques. His action feature is a headbutting action accompanied with a dual arm swinging motion. This would be fine if it wasn't notorious for breaking. His feature's supposed to be spring-loaded, but most loose examples are broken and have to be manually pumped to get them going. This now also causes issues when you want to display him. His arms tend to want to fall down, which then raises his head up slightly. Luckily, you can sort of remedy this by plugging in his accessories and jamming his staff into his groin. There. Perfect. We should probably talk about these weapons. Bandai didn't really meet the mark for some previous monsters, and they continue that trend here. He didn't have a shield with his face on it in the show, so why give him one, and a bad one at that? It looks so small with the handle poking out the back. As I said in a previous video, I really don't like these peg holes on the hands, so I'll say it again here. Don't like them. The staff's frustrating because he wields a staff in the episode which he calls the Rod of Destruction. Side note though, he later appears in Season 3 for Zed and Rita's wedding. During that time he calls his staff the Robo Staff. Call it whatever you'd like though, since Bandai just made this one up. Doesn't look anything like his staff. Really wish we could have gotten the Sword of Power with him, but I guess that would have been asking a lot. This character has Lightning Collection written all over it, so we'll have to wait until then for some of these corrections to possibly happen. Of course, Robogoat is defeated in his debut episode, but not before Tommy makes an attempt to call upon the Dragonzord. He realizes his powers are too weak, and it doesn't work. This all leads up to a final scene which turns out to be pretty somber. Jason and Kim are trying to console Tommy while he expresses his concern for his power loss. Right before the credits, Tommy states, "Lord Zed's had it in for me ever since the beginning and he's closing in." Complete with ominous musical accompaniment, it's an effective line and a really awesome way to close an episode. Far better than Bulk and Skull getting covered in some kind of goop and everyone just yucks it up. Great monster and a decent episode. Curious what your thoughts are? Please share and tune back in for future Monster of the Week action figure videos. Also, please be sure to try out our podcast. Just search Toy Talk Guys in your podcast app of choice, or click on one of our links in the video description below. Thanks for watching.